There's no place quite like it in the world. New York City. Tonight, Manhattan hosts a night of World Championship Boxing. First, for Roberto Duran's vacant WBA junior middleweight crown, now fighting out of the city of New York, the #1 contender Mike McCallum puts his undefeated record on the line. His opponent is the #2 contender, Sean Mannion. Originally from Ireland, now out of Boston, he too is desperate for the title. And then, the main event, a classic rematch. It was on October 3rd of 1981 that the champion battered the gutsy challenger for 11 rounds of vicious punishment. But in 3 years' time, a lot has changed. The champion from Brockton, Massachusetts is still Marvelous Marvin Hagler. But recently, the luster of his championship belt has been slightly tarnished. A year ago, the battle with Roberto Duran. Blood now, coming from the eye. It will definitely bother Marvin Hagler, who comes back with a combination. March of '84, the early surprise of Juan Roldan.
And there's a flash left hand. It is a knockdown.
And now the champion faces another test. The Syrian-born challenger now fights out of Brooklyn, and Mustafa Hamsho is not the inexperienced contender of 3 years ago. Convincing wins over the likes of the mysterious Wilfred Benitez have given him a long-awaited second shot at the title. The stage is set for 2 showdowns under one age-old roof. HBO Sports comes to you live from Madison Square Garden. Title fights in one full night of boxing. All of it live on HBO. It is a most impressive skyline. The bright lights of Broadway, a welcome sight to tourists everywhere. And tonight, as in times past, it is the host city for a big night of boxing. Live from Madison Square Garden in New York City, HBO Sports presents World Championship Boxing. First, #1 ranked contender Mike McCallum faces the #2 ranked challenger Sean Mannion for the vacant WBA junior middleweight title. Then, time permitting, we'll show you highlights of the pro debut of Olympic gold medalist Steve McCrory as he took on Jeff Hanna in a bantamweight contest. And then the main event, the undisputed middleweight champion of the world, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, takes on #1 contender Mustafa Hamsho in a scheduled 15-round title fight. There is indeed a special feeling here. History of champions past is as much a part of Madison Square Garden as the ring itself. The Garden has seen them all, and there simply isn't an arena that manages to recall its past like Madison Square Garden, New York. Hello, everybody. I'm Barry Tompkins. We got an awful lot of boxing to talk about, and I've got an all-star cast to talk about it with you and with me, the champ, Sugar Ray Leonard. First of all, let's talk about Marvelous Marvin Hagler and Mustafa Hamsho. It's a rematch. You've been through rematches. Are they difficult, and what can we look for in this one?
Very difficult, Barry. In fact, it may be a replay with Hamsho. I heard that he's going to change his style. I'm interested to see how he's going to change it. He should do what he does best, fight Hagler inside, but he needs to be elusive and not a stationary target.
Well, also with us, as always, our own sage, Larry Merchant. Larry, let's talk about this fight, and particularly, let's talk about Mustafa Hamsho. Are we going to see a new one, and if so, what is he going to have to do?
Mustafa Hamsho is very strong. He's highly motivated. He's got the hometown crowd. He wants to win a championship. If Marvin Hagler has lost a little bit on his fastball, who knows what could happen. But this is Marvin Hagler's debut at Madison Square Garden, and we can count on him giving the best of him as always. And let's remember, that original fight in Chicago was a massacre. Hamsho walked into Hagler like a condemned man walking into a firing squad. He has to modify his style so he can dodge some of those bullets.
Well, is Marvin Hagler invincible? That's the question everybody's been asking. If you ask a lot of people, they say yes, he's invincible. If you ask Marvelous Marvin Hagler, he says no, nobody's invincible. Well, before we get to that main event, we've got another championship fight to talk about between Mike McCallum, a guy you probably haven't seen until now, but you may see an awful lot going on. He'll be fighting a guy by the name of Sean Mannion for for the junior middleweight championship of the WBA. So who are these two pretenders to a championship? Well, one comes by way of Ireland to Boston. The other comes by way of Jamaica to Jamaica, Queens.
On June 15th, 1984, in Las Vegas, Nevada, Roberto Duran challenged Tommy Hearns for his WBC super welterweight title. The hands of Stone had entered the ring already stripped of his junior middleweight crown, and after 2 rounds, he fell to defeat. That set the stage for tonight's battle between Boston's number 2 ranked Sean Mannion and his opponent, Jamaican-born number 1 ranked Mike the Body Snatcher McCallum. By the end of the 15 rounds, one of these combatants will emerge as the new junior middleweight champion. Against Tony Suero in April of '83, McCallum demonstrated his crisp, precise punching power and combinations that kept coming. Suero was to become the 18th victim of McCallum's professional career. The body snatcher, after only 3 rounds, had grabbed another one. 4 months after the Suero fight, McCallum put his technique to work again, this time against Jose Vallejo. The confrontation lasted only 5 rounds, and Mike McCallum had racked up KO number 17. Determined to remain undefeated, McCallum faced Hasim Raza in March. After only 1 round, it was over, and McCallum earned the right to fight for the unclaimed title.
Mike, this is sort of the end of the rainbow for you now. It's a fight you've been waiting for a long time.
Yes, it has been a long while. I've been number 1 contender for about 1 year and 3 months, something to that effect. And it's been a long time, you know, and like I said, it's about time in my way.
Mike, what do you know about the guy that you're fighting here? We know he's tough, and he's trained, he says, more this time than he ever has.
Well, I'd expect that. I mean, it's a championship fight. This is his lifetime. It's his dream also. I've trained this time more than I ever trained before also. And Sean is the kind of fighter that it bores. If you don't go right ahead and get out of the way, it will be a dull fight because he tried to pick and move and cover up and stay in the corner and move and, you know, that kind of thing. So I got my strategy for Sean. Like I say, I had to fight about 50 times already in my mind. So I'm just going to go there and take care of business.
Awaiting the challenge of Mike McCallum is a native-born Irishman by the name of Sean Mannion. Sean Mannion faced Rocky Fratto in October of 1982. Mannion outboxed Fratto and was awarded the decision in 10 rounds. Experts may question the talent of Korea's In-chul Baek. He was ranked number 1 in the world when he faced Sean Mannion in May of '83. The southpaw outsmarted and outpointed the Korean and took the decision along with Baek's world rating. When Mannion faced Roosevelt Green in February of 1984, he displayed more punching power than ever before. This 7-round knockout gave proof that Sean Mannion is a viable contender.
Sean, you've been waiting a long time for this chance at the title. Have you fought this fight in your own mind already?
Yeah, I fought this fight about 1 year ago.
And how do you see it?
I see I'm coming out with the victory. I waited for so long for it, you know, and At last it's here, only a few hours away, and I'm going to make the best of it. I'm in great shape. I train real hard.
How do you account for people saying, well, he's never seen anybody like McCallum, that the caliber of fighter that you have fought is not like the guy you're going to fight tomorrow night?
Yeah, well, I'm thinking the same thing about McCallum. Who has he fought? I'm thinking the same way about him. I fought 4 or 5 guys in the top 10, and I beat them all, and I'm sure I'm going to give Mike McCallum a real surprise.
So you've heard from both the participants. Here's a good look at Sean Mannion. He is the number 2 ranked, as you see, WBA junior middleweight contender. He's a guy who Mike McCallum is not going to have to look for. We know that for a fact.
Well, he's a brawler. In fact, he will be in the fight the whole time.
McCallum is a guy who throws a lot of punches and combinations. He, of course, had a lot of work at the Kronk gym with Emanuel Stewart. However, there have been some problems on the managerial scene, which we'll expound on a little bit more as time goes on. In his corner now, not Emanuel Stewart, but Dan Duva. Here's a look at the tail of the tape, and as you can see, McCallum has about 3 inches in height, and that could be a factor in this fight, I'd have to think, Larry.
Well, it depends how you use your height. There have been some tall fighters that haven't used it to their advantage. We'll have to see how McCallum faces a really good boxer like Mannion.
Tony Suero is the common opponent, wherein something really shows between these two, as Suero knocked Sean Mannion out in the 8th round, and McCallum handled Tony Suero. Now, let's go up to the ring announcer, Michael Buffer, for the pre-fight introductions. Michael?
And now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Madison Square Garden, the temple of big-time professional boxing. Top Rank Incorporated is proud to bring to the fans here and all around the world watching on TV, Championship Boxing. This bout is sanctioned by the World Boxing Association. The ringside supervisor for the WBA is Maurice Sleep. The judges are Carol Paulus of Pennsylvania, Johnny Lobianco of New York, and Carol Castellano of New York. The ringside physicians are Dr. Earl Shaw and Dr. William Latham. The timekeeper is Freddie Albatello. Counting for the knockdown seconds, Arthur Mercanti, and the referee from New York is Tony Perez. And now, ladies and gentlemen, man your battle stations. This is for the vacant World Boxing Association Junior Middleweight Championship of the World. 15 rounds. Introducing first in the red corner. He's wearing green trunks and weighs 154 pounds even. His professional record, 29 victories, only 5 losses and 1 draw. Originally from Rossmock in County Galway, Ireland. Now out of Dorchester, Massachusetts. Ladies and gentlemen, the number 2 contender in the world, Irish Sean Mannion. And in the blue corner, he's wearing gold trunks with black and green trim. He weighs 153 3/4 pounds. His professional record, undefeated in 21 consecutive bouts. From Kingston, Jamaica, the number 1 challenger in the world, Mike the Body Snatcher McCallum.
Tony Perez, the referee, with the instructions.
Sean, I just gave you the instructions in the dressing rooms at this time. Any questions at all? All right, shake hands, and good luck to both of you.
Well, it'll be colorful, if nothing else. Mike McCallum wearing Jamaican colors, actually. Gold, green, black trim. Sean Mannion, the green and white of Ireland.
This may be the first championship fight to be judged by 2 women.
Carol Polis, Carol Castellano.
They have about
judges.
And they have about 20 championship fights of experience.
McCallum has come into the ring relatively cool, unlike Mannion. That's something, Ray, I know you've talked about on numerous occasions.
Well, there's no perspiration on either fighter. They're in fact, at this moment now, they're a little tight. And I wouldn't be surprised if something dramatic happened, like a knockdown. This is a big opportunity for both fighters.
And McCallum showing a good jab early on here. He will throw a lot of combinations. He's very quick. And frankly, when we talked yesterday, he's a very nice young man to begin with. When we talked yesterday, he was saying that his toughest fights so far have come in the gym at Kronk.
He knows how effective left jab of McCallum is. It's very straight, it's accurate, and this left jab is going to do a lot for him in the fight against a southpaw like Sean Mannion. It will keep Mannion off balance, and also it will enable McCallum to deliver a right hand left hook.
McCallum with the right hand lead going downstairs, missed a little short. Lunging left by Mannion was caught on McCallum's gloves halfway through the first round. Crowd support here in favor of Mannion, and you can hear them chanting.
Well, in order for Mannion to win or to be effective, though, he needs to get inside. He has to make a fight out of this, make a brawl out of this fight. He can't stand back and try to box a guy of the height of Mike McCallum.
McCallum, a good quick left hand. This is a round of pretty much a feeling out process on both sides.
The left jab is really bothering Sean Mannion because he can't get set. Every time he makes a move, McCallum throws that left jab, and it connects.
So we come down toward the end of the first round, a round which has already seen a little bit of redness and just the slightest bit of puffiness on the right side of Sean Mannion's face.
Once again, the left jab of Mike McCallum is starting to go to work on Sean Mannion.
So this is the second round, and the pace picks up just a little bit early on in the second round. Both corners telling their man to be patient.
Well, that is the key, Barry. In fact, the way that Mike McCallum is fighting Sean Mannion is flat-footed. And because Sean can't get inside, it's okay. And normally with an aggressive fighter, a southpaw, it's good to move around the ring. But I don't see no problem that Sean Mannion is making for Mike McCallum because he can't get inside due to the left jab of McCallum.
And the fact is, Mannion is not a guy who you would have to consider to be a knockout puncher. He's had his share, but he is not a guy who you really have to worry about knocking you out.
That's something to also look forward to. You notice when Sean Mannion reaches inside, the right hand grazes his chin.
That was a very good, quick right hand thrown by McCallum when Mannion did get in. And there's a great shot to the body. Remember Mike McCallum's nickname, the body snatcher. He's making good on that right now. He's going downstairs to the body, and he did hurt Mannion a moment ago with a good, solid left hand.
In fact, Mannion he didn't agree with the fact he was hit, you know, while the guys were clinching. And the rabbit punch that McCallum hit him with.
And Tony Perez.
It might help him, Barry. A little anger, a little more energy. And the fact of being frustrated might help Sean Mannion in this fight. Because like as of now, he's not doing anything. He's retreating, and against a fighter, the right hand there, a fight like the caliber of Mike McCallum, he just asks for trouble.
Every time Mannion does get inside, and McCallum holding and hitting there, and we'll see if he doesn't get a warning here from Perez for hooking. He does not.
That was a beautiful series of right uppercuts thrown by McCallum.
And when Mannion gets inside, he gets the worst of it. So he almost has no place to go.
Coming down toward the end of the second round.